Hello, everyone. I'm Mitesh Agrawal. I'm from EliteCISOs Global, and I welcome you all in this enlightening seminar which we are going to have today. Uh, I would like to thank you all for joining us today, and I would first like to introduce EliteCISOs Global to you. So Elite CISO's Global Talk series is dedicated to collective learning. We have committed to continuously organize this for the betterment of the community. And I want to start by introducing Elite CISO's Global. For many of us might be new here. Elite CISO's Global is a global network of chief information security officers, that is CISOs, dedicated to sharing knowledge, fostering collaboration, and driving innovation in the field of cybersecurity. We have chapters in various parts of the world, along with strategic collaboration with public sector organizations in the spirit of continuous learning and collaboration. If you are new here, let us know. We will be glad to have you in the elite community. So moving on to our agenda of today, that is AI in cybersecurity posture management. We would, at the end of the session, we'll be opening up our chat bot, and you can post your questions if at all you have any questions related to the topic that we are covering today. And our expert would be answering to all the questions that is being asked. So please allow me to welcome our esteemed speaker for today, Mr. Sudin Baraokar. He is Global AI and Cybersecurity Advisor, ex-SBI Barclays IBM and GE. He will enlighten us on this comprehensive topic today. We are glad he has taken this initiative and took out his precious time to join us on this knowledge sharing platform. And we hope you all would be benefited out of this session. Over to you, Sudin.
Thanks. Thanks, Mitesh. Just a quick check. Can everybody see my screen?
Please write yes in the chat box if at all you can see. I want to have 50 yeses in the chat box.
Great. So if it's a yes, I will start.
Yeah, it's yes. So then we can start.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you all. Wish you a very warm welcome. I'm Sudin Baraokar. I've been in the ID space for more than 2 decades with very large organizations, SBI, Barclays, IBM, and GE, most of it in the innovation and transformation roles. Today, I'm a global AI and cybersecurity advisor, as well as mentor to working professionals and students. We're going to talk about, in this session, we're going to talk about something all different. We're going to talk about the change, the transformation, the innovation that is coming in the cybersecurity. We're not going to talk about the annuity cybersecurity that all of you all would be experts at. So let me begin by the AI and cybersecurity inferencing super cycle. I call it a super cycle because the wave of AI which is coming in is at an unprecedented level. And we have seen the innovations made by certain chip companies like NVIDIA, as well as some of the Gen AI companies like OpenAI. And what this is really driving is next generation models, especially in cybersecurity, where we already have security posture management. We have CSPM, cloud security posture management. We have got security model management, SSM. We'll have to rewire and make these models more adaptive to the AI inferencing piece of it with respect to security. We've already done that in the form of adaptive security. Then we have to also deal with our mission critical platforms. How do we do inferencing across that? And if I just be allowed to skip a few slides. In terms of digital transformation, I benchmarked our core banking systems at State Bank of India, the largest lender in the country, at about 24,000 transactions per second. This was as head of innovation in 2017. 1.5 billion transactions in a day. And today we cover more than 500 million customers and 700 million accounts. This is the world's most advanced core banking system in the world, developed in India, made in India by Indian technologists. Now, for these vast numbers, we have to get inferencing out. How do we provide the best and the most economical security for more than 700 million accounts? Can we use AI? Can we use posture management? So depending on the different workloads, whether it is accounts across maybe retail banking, corporate banking, MSME, saving accounts, pension accounts, a whole lot of them. How do we do that? How do we get in effective cybersecurity for our Jan Dhan accounts, for our financial inclusion accounts? Probably there are more than 500 million of it already in India. Maybe State Bank of India must be having more than 100 million. These are Jan Dhan accounts which are having balances right from 0 rupees up to maybe 10,000 rupees. Last when I checked, this itself is even bigger than some of the banks, right? The total deposits in these accounts are more than 1,60,000 crores. Suddenly they become mission critical. Suddenly we have to provide very effective cybersecurity to millions of these accounts at the most economical rate. We have to check that cost of security. And we have to also weigh it against the cost of poor security. Then we have the posture management across how we do posture management, especially across when complex event happens. Complex, we use a technology stack called CEP, complex event processing. It's not a new stack. It's quite an old stack. From our IBM days, I can tell you that early 2000 we started using CEP. So it's about nearly 2 decades. But here we have to make sure that when we do posture management, when we engineer for cybersecurity posture management, we have to align it to that particular complex event. For example, COVID happened, right? It took banks, the RBI, the Supreme Court, the regulators, the authorities, more than 3 to 4 months to figure out whether a moratorium should be given to the common people who have lost their livelihood because of the shutdown. Why should it take 3 to 4 months? Can we use better inferencing? Can we use better analytics? Can we use much better predictive analytics and take immediate decisions so that we can serve society, so that we can help the people who really need help? And then, of course, there's the generative AI. These have got a lot of use cases. Right now, the use cases are more like, content generation and image generation. But we can use generative AI for a lot of our cybersecurity requirements, especially can we use generative AI to build the next generation data and network sandboxes to help test the cybersecurity solutions? Absolutely. A very, very good use case. And then finally is the GRC piece of it, which I feel that AI is going to drive this autonomic governance, risk, and compliance. The time it takes to make all these reports, whether it's a security audit report, or a hack report, or a ransomware report, or a security threat report, takes a long time, a very, very long time, where we sometimes struggle to meet the deadlines as required by the authorities and regulators. I must confess, even though we have teams, we have engineers, we have cybersecurity specialists, we have consultants, we also have system integrators, we have managed service providers, we have all that. But we need to now leverage AI in such a way that we can use it for the next generation cybersecurity platforms, which I believe will be completely automated, autonomic, and self-audited. I was just reading about a couple of months back, maybe a month back, about the tsunami of cyber attacks. The largest bank in the US and one of the largest global banks, JP Morgan, gets hit daily by over 45 billion hacking attempts daily. And that's just JP Morgan, right? We're not going into the, I mean, there are a lot of banks in America, there are a lot of banks in India. So the entire business super ecosystems are under attack on an unprecedented scale. Banks, manufacturing companies, healthcare companies, public utilities. It's all happening. And the hackers and bad state actors are simply getting smarter. Maybe they have started using AI. What does this mean to us? What does this mean to cybersecurity specialists, to technologists, to managers, to CXOs? The impact is huge because now the regulators and authorities are asking for a root cause analysis. They're asking for the security crime forensics. They also are asking for fines and penalties. They put a lot of fines and penalties. Now banks are rich, so we pay the fine. But believe me, it is a struggle again to give them the root cause analysis. And a lot of this is due to the fact that in our rush to go digital, especially in Barclays, we started our digital transformation program way back in 2009 with the Barclays internet banking, mobile banking, tablet banking. In 2011, we started with a Pingit, which was a direct payment application way back in 2011. SBI, we started our digital transformation in mid-decade, last decade, right? And in our rush to go digital, we did compromise on the security aspects of the applications. A lot of the time, the JAS, that is the Java authentication and authorization services, have not been invoked in some applications. They are vulnerable to threats. I hope some of the hackers and bad state actors don't get this information, but probably they already know all this. But this is a serious problem, And why it is a problem is we are talking about one or two applications. I can tell you that the ecosystems of large enterprises, large banks, we've got more than 400 global applications. Don't ask me how we got there. And then we have more than 800 source systems. In manufacturing companies like GE, conglomerates like GE, we have got more than 800 global applications, more than 4,500 production databases, large enterprise data warehouses, now data lakes, synthetic data, now generative data. So the ecosystem, the business application ecosystem is so massive that now we got to make sure that we don't have any vulnerabilities. We cannot put the speed, getting the applications deployed as a priority. We got to first secure them and then deploy them. So today, what are we talking about? We're talking about AI-based cybersecurity posture management across massive enterprise application ecosystems, the business, the data platforms, the applications, the different technology stacks that we are using, the governance, risk, and compliance. Now, complex events just don't mean COVID or, they could also mean, cybersecurity hacks and threats, right? Geopolitical events. And the observability across our enterprise, across all this entire ecosystem. It's a massive work that we need to do. And if we get this observability right and tune it using AI and using the best of cybersecurity, tune it to make sure that we are better prepared, we can take faster decisions, we can rewire and rewrite some of the business rules, some of the cybersecurity rules, some of the algorithms, prepare for the advent of quantum cryptography, prepare for advancement in hacks and threats, it's suddenly become extremely important. I just came across this article about the amount of fraud in India. My view, not the bank's view. Of course, I'm no longer officially in the banks, but my view is that all this money lost could have been given to the people who actually need the money, right? We have built up this incredible financial system where the rich who have enough money get even more money, and some of them turn out to be absconding, and some of them are not returning the money. Whereas the needy who need the money don't get the money. And the stats is shocking, right? The amount of fraud is 4.69 lakh crores in the last 9 years. It's a shocker. And where is this fraud happening? Across all the various channels, payments, apps, onboarding, KYC, core banking, ATM, POS, lending, APIs. We got to now secure all the APIs. Because we have organizations have massive API ecosystems, massive partner networks. Now we got to secure the APIs. Social media platforms. A lot of the organizations now launch their products on social media. They want to also transact on social media. So I've done a very interesting project where I've developed an AI model. I used started with about 50 hyperparameters. I'm now at about 100 hyperparameters. And this model, inferencing model, will help me predict in terms of which, over the next 5 years, which channel is going to get hit and what kind of breach or fraud or hack is going to take place. Fantastic use of AI to help reduce the amount of fraud, which is, I mean, India is massive, but it's all over the world, right? Whether it's the developed world or the emerging world, it's all across, right? I'll just go over this slide and then just open up for a few questions. Then we have seen recently, maybe about a year back, about some balloons appearing, some Chinese made balloons appearing over the US, right? And some of them were shot down by some crack fighter pilots and fighter planes. Even today, we are not really in a position to determine what exactly was being spied on. What was being surveyed? What was it that the foreign countries were what information were they trying to get? Was it signals, protocols, images, network, traffic, IP, nodes, the data flow, bandwidth, congestion, patterns, authentication, authorization? Here again, we have to use AI to figure this out. And believe me, even after a year, not much is known as to what was hacked and why these balloons were made to go over a particular country. So using emerging tech for these emerging global cybersecurity threats has suddenly become extremely important. Before I go to the next slides, let me just pause a bit and take up any questions that you all may have.
Yeah, Sudin, till now, though I'm not from cybersecurity industry, but I have also found it very interesting. And we are now open for the question and answer questions, if at all you have any till now. you can please put it on the chat, or you can put it on the Q&A tab you might be seeing on your Teams meeting. We'll just wait for 2 minutes. If at all you have any questions, please do put it here, or
Have you
else
guys
we'll move
understood
forward.
all of what I said? So yeah, so this session is talking more about not about annuity IT, which we have already a lot of sessions and a lot of events, but this is talking about the next generation transformation that is required, badly required in the cybersecurity space across whether enterprises or mid markets or startups or even by entrepreneurs. So that's really the focus. So happy to take up any questions, or I will ask a question.
I think let us not wait for people to ask the question. You ask the question and let's see who answers it.
Okay, the question is, when was the world's first AI system developed? How many years back or how many decades back?
The first person to answer this doesn't get any prize, but still we are expecting replies from you people. That's a quick one, Nikhil. Thank you, Neeraj. Nikhil is saying 1955. Neeraj is saying 1992.
Okay, 55, 90s, 50s, 90s. Any other wild guesses?
2009.
Okay, that's quite new. Any other wild guesses? Okay, the world's first AI system was developed more than a century back by a company called Honeywell in the form of autopilot. The same autopilot could take the controls of the
We have Sanket. I think, Sudin, we have lost you. There's some network issue at Sudin's end. Guys, you can write your answers here. We'll have to wait for Sudin to give the right answer. I think he is facing some network issues at his end. Meanwhile, people, please be attentive. Please participate in this question and answer round. We expect more replies on this question. Dattatreya will definitely take your question with Sudin. We are expecting him to join back in about 2 minutes of time. Jikin, can you please check with Sudin?
Yeah, he's joining back.
We also have one question from Vinay Remagia. So Vinay will take up your question again with Sudin. I think Sudin is back. Sudin, do we have you back? Are you there? Yes.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, so Sudin is here, back again. So Sudin,
Yeah.
there are few answers to your question. So the answer from Nikhil is 1955. Answer from Vijay Kumar Talreja is 2009. Nilesh is saying 2022 Chat GPT. Sanket is saying 1941. Dattatreya is saying 2023. And Bharat Malakia is saying it's 1948. So you'll have to like enlighten us by giving us the right answer.
Sure. So the world's first AI system was developed more than a century back in the year 1913, 1914 by a company called Honeywell in the form of an autopilot, which could control the plane, which could fly the plane without the pilot's intervention. The same autopilot is today used in all commercial planes. And we know that, yeah, there were a few tragic, crashes, but that was not due to AI. That was not due to autopilot. That was due to manufacturing defects and pilot errors. So AI is not new. It has been for more than a century. And today, the presence of AI in every aspect, be it commercial enterprises, be it business, be it end using systems, be it generative chat, is just immense.
So it's just that just that ChatGPT has made it more popular.
It's not only more popular, but now all the action, all the investments are going into AI. How can we use AI to make it a safer world? How can we use AI to make it a more responsible and ethical world? How can we use AI to build autonomic systems? Right? Autonomic tractors were invented in early 2000. A fantastic innovation. Automated guided vehicles, which were used in Europe on the manufacturing plant floors, which used to supply all the material to the different departments, is a 1990s invention. Right. So, of course, the new AI, and of course, in the late 90s, we had coming from the IBM world with pride, I can say that our IBM Deep Blue, our supercomputer, defeated the then greatest champion, Garry Kasparov, one of the few players to have crossed the 2,800 ELO rating in chess. Right. That was for a specific purpose, where the Deep Blue was trained so that it could beat the greatest chess champion ever. Right.
Yeah.
So today we are seeing a, a tsunami, right? We're seeing a tsunami. And what I'm describing as next generation headless digital platforms they're all going to be completely automated, autonomic, and self-audited.
Right.
Right. And banks and e-com companies have already done this successfully. Right. We took up this challenge, we invested in the technology, we invested in the security. Right. And today we can see that we can give loans, instantly through our cell phones, through the cell phones. We can do all the transactions through our cell phones.
Right.
Right. The same thing is going to come across other industries. Right. And even industries like banking and e-com. I just displayed the stats for fraud in India itself. That's a shocker. Right?
Yeah.
How can we use AI to help us predict what kind of fraud is going to happen across which banking channel? Right? Fantastic use of AI. Fantastic use of to build the AI model. You can start with we call them hyperparameters. Typically level 1, you can start with about 50 hyperparameters. Level 2, you can go up to about 200, 300 hyperparameters. And a full-blown autonomic system, which is world-class, you will have to have about 500 hyperparameters. And the benefits will be immense. The benefits will be immense. I mean, just look at the loss to the countries, loss to the citizens, loss to banks, loss to customers. All that money recovered, all that money could have been given to the people who need the money, right? So, yeah.
You're right. So, Sudin, we have few questions. Let me know if at all this is the right time to answer those questions. So Dattatreya is asking how best AI can help CISO in mitigating risk and managing information security.
Yes, as I said, predicting the threats, predicting the hacks, predicting the attacks. We must know that, I mean, because of the size of our ecosystems, all right, we've got, a bank like SBI has got 700 million accounts, right? 500 million customers, 55,000 ATMs, 22,000 branches, and then we have our super banking app called Yono, which is more than 50 million customers itself. So we got to be now proactive. Previously we were just doing analytics. We were doing slicing and dicing the data and trying to get to a posture management, right? Now we can do inferencing across. If our core banking is generating 1.5 billion transactions in a day, can we move from just pure play slicing and dicing of analytics of data to inferencing, where we can use the right posture management for the right customer, right? Can we use a very effective, economical security posture management for our Jandan accounts, right? A lot of the accounts have zero bank balances and they're already they're 500 million of them. Whereas for our wealth management customers, where the volume may be less, but the value is very high, can we have better multi-factor authentication, even more better security models? Can we have threat intelligence to help us how to secure our data, their data, right? The banking transactions, right? So this is the amount of use cases, right? So using emerging tech like AI for using emerging tech for emerging use cases, emerging models, right? Emerging applications is a fantastic opportunity. It's absolutely fantastic opportunity. And back in the past, why I'm so bullish about all this is, and let me also share my screen.
Yeah, your screen is already visible, Sudin.
Yeah.
So there is one more question. There is one more question from Vinay Remegia. It is, can you tell more about AI model that has been developed by you to predict the future of frauds and channel that will be exploited?
Yeah, so as I said, I started with about 50 hyperparameters. I went into each and every channel. So as I said, and if I can share that, I decompose this entire channel model. Okay, where is it gone? Right. So what are the hyperparameters across our payments? So they would be across our digital payments, separately across NEFT, IMPS, RTGS. These all are different payment options available. Our UPI alone across India, across pan India, is about 10 billion transactions in a month. So it's suddenly the entire payments has become very, very important. Each payment channel and each payment option is unique, right? So we have to build the hyperparameters based on that. So for example, if you're more concerned with high value payment, then you have to develop the models for the high value transactions like either RTGS or IMPS or rather NEFT. If it's a low value kind of payment, then you have to build up the security model, the security posture management model, right? Where payments are maybe up to 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs, right? Where you'll have to get in the characteristics, you'll have to build the hyperparameters based on how that transaction takes place for a UPI payment. Across now, even UPI, there's so many other channels across UPI, right? I just use the WhatsApp channel for payments. Then I'm also using the digital wallets of the banks. Then I'm using the Beam API, Beam UPI, Beam app also, right? So together, if you build up this model, start with, I would suggest start with 50 hyperparameters. You can always, just ping me on LinkedIn and, I can guide you on, how you can build your model. The question is that whether we can use, off the shelf models. The problem is right now, the Gen AI models and other models are not available for an enterprise kind of a perspective, right? They will be. So for you to build your own model, and you have the data within your organization, right? You also have the, let's say if you're in a bank, you also have the previous data, where the fraud, what is the volume of the fraud. So that itself is generative data, right? There's a whole lot of data in the organization, which we simply can use for better inferencing. We have used it for analytics previously successfully, right? But now we have to use it for inferencing. We have to predict the right way. And the best example of why AI and inferencing is important is because previously we have seen the Brexit polls have gone wrong. The 2016 US presidential polls have gone wrong. Why? Because they've just used the normal slicing and dicing of data. They're not used AI. They're not used hyperparameters. Now there's a good chance they're not used machine learning. I mean, they were lucky. I mean, pollsters in India are lucky, but in UK, if you get the polls wrong, right? If you're a pollster, right? If you're a pollster agency and you get the polls wrong, then there is a pollster association which will fine you. They are officially fined and they are scolded. Why did you get the prediction wrong? Because that's your basic job, right? So that's how important is AI and inferencing today, right? I have another question. What are the security problems that may arise on introducing AI in CSPM? So I think probably there'll be lesser problems. Okay, because when you want to do CSPM, right? CSPM is going to be on the cloud where already you have a first level of security, right? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes, very much.
Okay. Right. So I wouldn't say the security problems will be there, but the way we have been doing it, where we are building, frameworks in the past and keeping it in Excel or PPT, those are going to be converted into AI-based models. Those are going to be converted into hyperparameters. Those are going to be merged with data science. They're going to be merged with, various other algorithms, or you can develop the algorithms. So it's going to become more, the security problems are going to be now addressed with a more scientific approach, with more of AI, with more of data science, with more of data, with more of generative data now. In fact, even that is available, right? So it's going to simply increase. It's simply going to increase, right? The security, the levels of security, the levels of preparedness are going to simply improve. Jailbreaks and prompt injections. Yeah, I think that's a great question. What we are testing right now, we are doing we are doing a lot of testing, but if we can use, as I said, mentioned, AI-driven, AI-based data and network sandboxes, I think we can further improve the models or the kind of algorithms already available, right? Or if whatever processes are available. So they are called network and data, sandboxes. Some of the regulators have also put up these sandboxes, not necessarily for cybersecurity. They can also be used for cybersecurity, where if let's say a startup or a cybersecurity vendor claims, that this is the best solution for your for the bank security or for the organization security, then through this regulatory or authority-based sandboxes, which are either hosted by them or sometimes they are even jointly hosted by banks, all right? You can check how effective are these jailbreaks and prompt injections, right? So now we are merging the various data science piece of it together with this, right? Which is going to be a very, very big advantage. We are also not using, we are not only using now code, right? We are not only using code to do the testing, right? But we are now using models. We are using inferencing models to actually determine, and also getting out various, statistical metrics, either F1 score or epoch or loss accuracy. So it's becoming far more scientific based than previously what we've done. Does that answer your question? So what I'll do is I'll just finish off the slides and then we'll again open it up. Yeah, Mitesh, anything else? Any other questions that you want?
No, I think there are no other questions at the moment. We can continue with the presentation, Sudin.
Sure, sure. So I just have a few slides. So, what are the skills required in this convergence of AI and cybersecurity? This is very, very interesting. We need to have an AI MLOps model security tester. That's very, very interesting because now we have built up these models. And for example, the regulators and authorities are asking the fintechs in China that now you expose your model, what you've built, right? If you're a fintech, we want to really verify whether you're actually doing fintech, whether you're actually doing financial inclusion. If you have built a model which will reduce fraud, right, or which will have better security for bank or maybe a next generation MFA, right, then we would like to test it. How are you going to test? You'll require a security tester for that, a model security tester. Fantastic opportunity. Then there is the OTA, over-the-air updates, security patch automation engineer. Many of the hacks all across the world and various organizations happen because of the patching not done for newer OS or newer versions, right? That's where the vulnerability arises. That's where hackers and bad state actors take advantage. Then we have the entire CSPM, SPM system designer, data and network sandbox analysts, network infra code as a service developer. Right now we're looking at, just as we have code as a service, or we have also got low code, no code. We've also got DIY templates. We can also use network infra code because a lot of your today's world in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of AI, is going to be very, very dependent on the network. Cybersecurity data scientist, badly required. Crime science forensics investigator. Total cost of poor security analyst. And a governance, risk and compliance audit compliance analyst, because very, very important to check the status of the security audits, to build up the impact of cost of poor security. And that can be very, very big. And it can affect the reputation of the organization, the brand of the organization, and will invite the wrath of the regulators and authorities. So how do we get ready, right? There's so many things happening. So much work needs to be done. It's like starting cybersecurity again, right? So enterprises have huge application security requirements. As I just told you, a lot of them in the speed to build applications, right? Be it progressive web apps or mobile apps, we have not invoked authorization and access and authentication access, right? They're sitting ducks out there, some of them. Understanding of the threat inferencing landscape. So it's no longer just a threat intelligence landscape. We have to now understand the threat inferencing, right? How is the next level of fraud going to happen, right? How are these bad state actors better prepared? Maybe they are using AI. Then we also got to merge, I feel, our entire cybersecurity ecosystem. We got to also merge it with the various acts, right? Sometimes we do it in isolation. But here comes India Digital Act 2023, which becomes very, very important for the organization to protect their customer data, their employee data, their own data, right? The business transaction data, to comply with the various rules, to comply with GDPR, PCI DSS, PSD2 used heavily for payments. One of the interesting things we did, and I will not name the bank, but it was a global bank, where we invited ethical hackers to actually come and try to hack our systems, right? We did give them some development and test environments, And we invited them because we sometimes need to know, you need to wear their hat and see, what are they thinking? What our hackers are thinking. Once we get that thinking, once we get that understanding, it will also increase our own CISO technical vitality. And now CISO organizations are quite big, right? They could be your internal CISO organization. We could also partner with either managed service providers or some of the consulting companies. Then, of course, the entire IoT, IIoT, cybersecurity. There's as we get more autonomic systems, we already have autonomic tractors. We already have automated guided vehicles. Now we might have autonomic driving vehicles very soon, right? So for that, we also require to make sure that that vehicle through the OBD port does not get hacked. Because if the hacker comes in through the OBD port, he can take control of the vehicle. Some of the good resources available are the MITRE cybersecurity framework, excellent piece of work. And nowadays, apart from the software frameworks, right, whether they're cybersecurity frameworks or AI frameworks, there's a lot of AI hardware and cybersecurity frameworks. Intel has put SGX, we call it Intel SGX. They have put security on the chip itself. Some companies do leverage this piece where the security is on the hardware piece of it. So even that can be leveraged. And overall, as an emerging tech, what we have to do is, emerging tech, be it in AI or cybersecurity or machine learning or deep learning or cloud or automation, these are all DIY technologies, do it yourself technologies. Sometime back, I went into coding, and because of that, I went into low code, no code, so that I could develop the progressive web apps or even mobile apps by myself. Because they're only about, they're only about 2,000, they're about 3,000 AI experts in the world today. And if 30 of, and let's say if 30 of them are in Paris and you get somebody's number and you call them up, they might not answer your call because they'll be drowned with other AI projects. So in this world of AI and emerging tech, we have to do it ourselves, learn it ourselves, build teams, increase the overall technical vitality of the organization, transform the organization, get in newer models, use this opportunity so that we know exactly we're not taken for a ride. Suppose I tomorrow tell a developer that, hey, build me a security posture management platform. That developer might come and say that, hey, it will take me 6 months or maybe 9 months. And even after 6 months or 9 months, I will not know whether it's going to be ready or not. And these skills are, the emerging tech skills are, very less. And that's what the world wants. The world wants innovation and transformation across everything, all use cases, be it cybersecurity, be it healthcare, be it banking, be it manufacturing, right? So these are some of the emerging tech: network code as a service, infrastructure code as a service, AI, ML, DL, this is all well known, data science, low code, no code, data pipelines. We also got to secure these data pipelines. Autonomic databases, a fantastic innovation. Can we use autonomic databases which are, we call them self-healing or self-curing databases, databases that can self-heal by themselves? Can we use it for even autonomic networks that can self-cure or heal by themselves and be available? Of course, CSPM, cloud security posture management, source system automation, transactional bots, and of course, now the latest and greatest coming from the Gen AI stable, that is prompt engineering. So I'm done with my slides, and I will now open up the session for any inputs, comments, questions, claims, validation, verification. Yeah.
So, thank you, Sudin. I think it was very interesting. room, do we have any questions on this?
So, so absolutely, your jailbreaks, prompt injections, your annuity cybersecurity will continue. We have to, when we do digital transformation, we run the organization and then we change the organization. So we have to run our mission critical systems. We have to improve our mission critical systems. We have to make them more secure. At the same time, now we have to get the latest and greatest in AI and cybersecurity to change the organization. Go to the next level. And these are resources and available, available now at an unprecedented scale. Previously, we had limitations.
So Madhav is asking Sudin, what are your thoughts on assurance on AI-enabled systems?
Yeah, so yes, there is the advantages that things become automated, autonomic, self-audited. The flip side, the disadvantage is that they have to be verified. The model has to be verified. We have this space called ethical and responsible AI. We want to make sure that AI is going to, I'm always positive. I'm a technologist all my life and will always be. So, the autopilot, which has been made more than a century back, still works perfectly well, and it's not replaced the pilot, right? It still works. It works in sync with the pilot, and so many lives have been saved. So since more than a century, we have been using autonomic systems, and they have saved the world, right? They have got a lot of benefits to the world. I was just watching CNN yesterday, and I saw one of the CNN reporters and the president of Lockheed, a defense maker, and they were flying in their autonomic helicopter. They were flying in their autonomic helicopter. So just imagine, how great it is. Yeah. But yes, we have to be concerned about the quality assurance, the ethics, the responsibility. Make sure nothing goes wrong. Make sure that autonomic worlds go through those various testing phases. A lot of the countries, a lot of the governments, a lot of the companies themselves are, quite focused on this part of it because it becomes very, very important. But from my view, I think it's a great transformation that we are going to witness.
Madhav, I hope that answers your question. Dattatra is asking what effectiveness an AI can bring to the data privacy management.
No, that's a great question, Dattatra. I think when we have to, as I said, we have got large data platforms. We have very large customer base. We have a whole lot of data, right? One of the use cases that I've implemented, one of the solutions that I built across is that retail banks in India and UK have to store the retail bank customer data for a period of 7 years. It's mandated. If banks don't save it, all the customer transaction and data for a period of 7 years, they can be fined or their banking license revoked, or they will be asked for a root cause analysis as to why you not saved it. So one of the very effective, this may not be necessarily with data privacy, but with overall data management, especially from a security side and also privacy side. So what I built the optimizer for was that recent data could be stored on the SSD for about 2-month data. 2 months to 1 year data could be stored on the HDD, and more than 1 year to 7 year data could be stored on the storage archives or backups, right? So using this solution, we could go back to the regulator saying that these are the SLAs that we can also help you, and we are also fulfilling the mandate of storing that data, the retail bank data, customer retail bank data, for a period of 7 years. In terms of the data privacy, right, it's very important for us to rewire our customer data platforms, right? We have got so many customer data. We've got onboarding platforms, KYC platforms, customer analytics platforms, CRM platforms, where we got to rewire them so that we can comply with the various rules. For example, the data localization rules. So the data localization rules, and now this is across all countries, including India, where the RBI says that right from, if it's a payment transaction, right from your origination of payment to your settlement of payment must be on a local server or a local cloud. Very important. Why it is being done is that so that the data is not in a foreign land or does not get into the realms of a bad state actor or hackers. So that would be a catastrophe, right? So we have not done a very good job on that, I must confess. There's still a lot of work to do because we'll have to now rewire all our data platforms, and using AI inferencing, using Gen AI, we can definitely align it to the various acts and regulations so that we can make sure that the data privacy, the customer privacy, the sensitivity, the confidential data is not out in the open. We have used the techniques like synthetic data, wherein the SBI, they open something like 17,000 accounts daily, right? A lot of the accounts are opened in rural and semi-urban areas. Now, how do we make sure that all that data, right, is secure, right? A lot of it could be a form filling, it could be through mobile, it could be through internet, it could be in various ways. Now we have to rewire and make sure that the rules that we are following, apart from the RBI rules, we have to also follow the country rules. We have to also make sure that the India Digital Act, right, especially for our digital data, is being aligned to, is being integrated with, right? So by building up the newer models, as I said, right, so you can build up a model, AI model, and in the hyperparameters you can put in all the different parameters, right? You can put in all the different hyperparameters with respect to data privacy, right? The security aspect, the masking aspect, in case the encryption standards, right? The storage aspects, the archival aspects, right? The who gets to access that particular data? How is the current multi-factor authentication happening? Right? How is the authentication and authorization happening? Right? So if you build this model and then test it, run it, overnight you're not going to get a result. When we built our first bots model for our internet banking and our website, and for the website, we only got 40% confidence. Right now we are at 90% confidence, 99% confidence that the response, whether through a prompt or through a bot, will come in a contextual and relevant manner, right? So the same model can be used across various use cases, especially for data privacy management, which is a very, very, very big issue today, right? It's all over the world. And a lot of this, and if we don't do this, a lot of this is the prime culprit for all these hacks and fraud taking place, because we are not able to, really secure the data as per the best-in-class standards. But yes, synthetic data can be used which masks the confidential and sensitive details of the customer without affecting, because when we do when we used to do all the masking and we used to run the analytics, it used to have a problem with the analytics, right? With the statistics. Now with these synthetic generation tools, there's Gretel.ai and a whole lot of other tools, you can, without altering the analytics coefficient, right, the effectiveness of the analytics, you can mask the data and reuse the data, because then there is no confidential information, maybe name or address or account number or cell phone number, that's completely masked out.
That answers your question. We have another question from Jagdish Asodekar. Can we build cybersecurity posture dashboard or MIS using AI? As currently to have such platform, it's a big investment and many inputs needs to be put manually and validate.
So when you start using AI for cybersecurity, start with a use case. What is the biggest problem your organization facing? If you are you using it to help reduce or detect fraud? Are you using it for better KYC? Are you using it for better onboarding? Are you using it for better data storage? Are you using it for better compliance with the India Digital Act 2023? So start with that use case. I don't think it's that much of rocket science with the kind of tools and resources that we have today. But yes, choosing the right use case, making sure that, because you're not really using AI to replace the Excel sheet, right, or the PPT. You're using AI for next generation inferencing in this case, right? So make sure that you are it doesn't necessarily to build a model, to build the hyperparameters, to do the bit of the data science and to build the algo is not a very, very big investment, right? And if it doesn't work out, don't waste your time for 6 months or 1 year. Fail fast. If that particular tool or approach does not work out, fail fast. Go to the next tool or approach, right? So I think choosing the right use case, aligning with your stakeholders as to where you want to use AI, right? What is the investment? Yes, there will be a lot of investment in your model building, your inferencing costs, your serving the model, your GPU costs. There will be costs. But then if you are looking at the impact and the benefits that that'll get, especially when we are when you're dealing with pure poor security, or you're dealing with regulators and authorities who are hell bent on making sure that you are complying it the right way, right? As we can see the latest the 2-month-old story, the latest story of a particular fintech and its payment bank subsidiary, right? They built up 300 million. The parent built up, that particular fintech built up 300 million customers in a few years, right? Even a bank, like even the old banks, even 2-century old banks to have taken 2 centuries to build up that kind of base, right? To build up more than 500 million customers, right? But at the end of it, right, all the regulator authorities now, they are asking for a whole lot of reports, whole lot of audits, and they have revoked the license, of they stopped that payment bank from operations. So we have no option but to make sure that in regulated industries, and now virtually all our regulated industries, we have to make sure that we have to get this right. We have to make sure that we have to use the latest and greatest to get this entire GRC piece right. Otherwise, it's a complete mess. I mean, imagine all the money they spent in that payment bank subsidiary has all gone for a toss. The government, the RBI said that, hey, you cannot do your parent company fintech company transaction with your own payment bank. Finished, right? So yes, it depends on what your use cases, how important it is for your organization, and take it up. I have built a level 1 kind of models in a few weeks. I tested them in a few weeks and served them. So I think up to 50 hyperparameters can be done in about a month or two, and you can even serve it. And then once you get that model, then you got to keep training the model, keep optimizing that model, so that you'll get the correct and desired result. But I think take the shot, right? I mean, sometimes I was told, and that too in a government organization, right, in a PSU, that you take the shot. If you fail fast, but just make sure that transformation and innovation happens. Use the latest and greatest of technologies and conquer the world. Otherwise, we'll get conquered.
I think, Sudin, we will have to conclude this seminar. We are.
If there are any extra questions, you can just send me an Excel sheet, and I will just.
Yeah. So what we can do is, team, what you can do is you can share your questions with Jikain, and what we will do is we will try and get the answers for those questions from Sudin, and we'll share those answers with you in the group. And meanwhile, also, I would request Jikain to share the link of EliteCISOs membership. If any of you is not yet a member of EliteCISOs global community, I would request you to please come ahead and enroll yourself for the membership. We have many such webinars which keep on happening. We have many such events which keep on happening throughout India, outside India also. So please do enroll yourself as member if you are not a member till date, right? Thank you all. Thank you for your patience and thank you all for listening us patiently. I hope this session must have brought a lot of insight to you as far as AI in cybersecurity posture management is concerned. See you all next time with a new topic and new speaker. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sudin. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jikain. Thank you, Fal. Please take the link.